Today on Twan the Used Car Don, I'll be showing you how to do the front brakes on a 2022 4Runner. This is also is the same procedure on a 2022 Tacoma and the new Tundra or any Tundra. First, the difference is on these brakes, the bracket is the caliber. So it's two bolts that hold all. So once you take off those two bolts, and then do the top 12 millimeter bolt, you're done. So the bolts are 19 millimeter, maybe 17 millimeter, depends on which one. And then you just hang the caliper to the side. This is very important because you don't want that brake line to come loose because you'll have to bleed the whole brakes over again. And here you go. Here's the seat, here's the rotor, and here's the actual lower bolt and the top bolt. You just zip those two out. Here I'm using a 1/4 inch impact with, no, this is a 1/2 inch impact. And there we go. 17 millimeter swivel socket. And here's a 12 millimeter bolt. Comes out right there. I'm actually putting this back in, but the same procedures for the front and then it's for the back. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to go forward, you can also do it backwards. But the most important thing when you're doing the front brakes on these caliber brakes, so you see it has 4 pistons. So you have dual calibers on each side applying pressure in. The main thing is these shims. You have to pop those in because these also keep the brakes in. In return, these hold the brakes in. So you take those two out, you slide those pins out like so. 1 pin and 2 pin. Here we go. And I usually go over here on the grinder machine and then I clean them out. Here I go. I'm showing you here. See, on this grinding machine, you actually get all the old brake dust and buildup off of the pins because it's important for those pins to slide in and out. Here we go. And like I said, training purposes, please forgive the hand. One day I'll ask somebody, hey, come record my YouTube video, but I'm not going to do that. So I'll figure out how to get that thumb out of the way. But this is my thumbprint. That's Twan the Used Car Don. That's my fingerprint. There it is. And here I'm cleaning all the old carbon brake buildup off of the brake pins, like so. Like I said, very important because when you slide that pin back in, you want that pin to be as smooth as possible. Here's the main trick on when you're doing these brakes. You're going to have a tool to push both of those pistons in at the same time. Note, do not push these pistons in with the caliper off. Has to be on the back on the rotor, and here you go right now. You can place both sides in, and I'm using 2 screwdrivers. And I know you're wondering, damn, Twan, did you get a little lighter? Yeah, I did. Anyways, no, I had an assistant help me on that part. And here we go again. I spray the brake quiet on every single brake job that I do, like so. And you slide one side in, like so. Takes a little time. You got to work with me because remember, I'm one-hand camera, one hand actually working. And that's good in there. And then we're going to come behind that with the other brake pad, and we're also going to slide that in. And if it doesn't fit, you move the rotor because the rotor's not like tight, right? Like so, you move it, push it in or out, and that'll allow that brake to slide right in. And then here we go. After we've already zapped it with the impact, we come back with the long wrench to make sure it's tight to get that extra snug of torque on there. Like so. And I already slid the pins back in. And I actually, after you slide the pins back in, here's these bracket holders right here. So. And the top pin was already in. And I'm going to come below, slide that bottom pin. Remember, that's the pin that we cleaned. And it's important when you put that bottom little hook on that the pin slides through the hook. And then you have this one long pin that actually comes and locks the brakes in place. This holds the brakes in place and the pins in place. And that's pretty much it. Make sure those are in. And like I said, this is the same procedure for all, like the Toyota Tacoma, the Toyota Tundra, and the 4Runner. So that's how you do front pads. And then, like I said, this works on all those vehicles. Please make sure you like and subscribe to Twan the Used Car Don.